Hello, this is Angel Fan, and this project is about coal energy in Texas and Indiana. Texas and Indiana are the states that generate the most amount of coal energy and use coal as their main power source. This fact is closely related with the population and the local industry in Texas and Indiana. What are some findings due to the consumption and production of coal energy when comparing these two states? We will begin with abstraction. Abstraction is selecting information from a large amount of data to show only the relevant details to the object. The main goal of abstractions is to handle complexity by hiding unnecessary details from the user that enable the user to implement more complex logic on top of provided abstraction without understanding or even thinking about all the hidden complexity. In this project, I abstract all relevant information to a list of coal energy report. All of them have result defining and analysis at the end. State, it's a string property that shows the state that the report was made for. Production, a flow property that shows coal production in billions BTU. Consumption, a flow property that shows coal consumed by the electrical power sector in billions. Price, a flow property that shows coal price in the electrical power sector in dollars per million. Moving forward, we will look at data structure for better understanding this project. This diagram shows the structure of abstracted database. This database is too big that I did not show all the database here, but I have shown the few that I will be using in my visualization coming next. As you can see, the entire database is a list of dictionary. For example, the code that described it, the consumption of the coal of electric power, it's a dictionary associated with the consumption and the electrical power key. This database also has few limitations that it's worth to notice. First, the data comes from the U.S. Energy Information Administration, which has historical data from 1960 to 2014 only. The data might be a little bit outdated. Secondly, information was not always available, in which case 0 was reported instead. In some cases, very tiny values were rounded down to 0. Third, the data only available at the state level, which means we can go or we can break down into more details behind. First question, what are the trends of coal production in Texas and Indiana? This visualization shows both trends of coal production in Texas and Indiana. The blue line represents Indiana and the orange line represent Texas. The trends reflects that both Texas and Indiana experienced a rapid growth of coal production in the first 30 years within 1960 to 2014. Texas had an even more dramatic growth compared to Indiana during the 80s. The trends of both states became steady as entering 2000s. Texas even showed a tendency of decrease in production of coal lately. Second question to answer is, what are distribution of coal energy consumption in electric power in Indiana and Texas? This visualization shows distribution of coal energy consumption in electric power in Indiana and Texas. The top graph represents Texas and the bottom one represents Indiana. The top visualization has shown that in Texas, even though the popular of producing coal comes later than Indiana, but a much larger amount of coal was consumed once coal energy are used in Texas. In the exact number, 1.75 BTU to 1 BTU of coal were consumed at most, comparing to the 1.2 BTU of Indiana. Indiana, though, on the other hand, had a much more even distribution comparing with Texas, which showed a steady growth of usage in coal energy. The third and last question. What are trends of price in coal used by electric power in Texas and Indiana? This visualization shows both trends of price in coal used by electric power in Texas and Indiana. The blue line represents Indiana and the orange line represents Texas. Both trends are very close together, which means the change in price are very similar within the 15 years. This is due to the market and price regulation by government. The tendency of increasing is remarkable from both trends, which means price of coal has been increasing by years. Texas experienced some price drop in 2010. Corresponding to the first visualization, the production of coal also dropped in the 2010s in Texas. Before getting into social impact analysis, I would like to explain some background regarding to the choice of database and some other specification here. Related facts about coal are used in this project to represent some environmental issue because burning coal not just increase air pollution and danger in health, it also produces huge amount of carbon dioxide into atmosphere, which increase the greenhouse effect and lead to global warming. I chose the sector of electric power here to represent price and consumption of coal because the electric power sector accounts for about 92.6% of the total U.S. coal consumed in 2008, according to the annual report of Energy Information Administration. Lastly, I chose Texas and Indiana out of the database because Texas is the second largest state in the country by population and by land, and Texas also leads the nation in both producing and consuming energy. 34% of energy used in Texas are generated by coal. Indiana is the U.S. top coal producer. It's one of the U.S. top coal producer. 2/3 of the coal mined in Indiana never leave the state. 85% of the energy used in Indiana are generated by coal. Texas is the only state that consumes more coal than Indiana. Some stakeholders that care about the future development of coal energy are government and policymakers who concerned about governmental issues and continued development of the human society, and everyone, particularly people in Texas and Indiana who worries about their air quality and health. Energy producer who provide coal energy. Coal mining company who produce coal. Some conflicts that possibly exist among stakeholders are government and policymakers will have to make trade-off between expensive new energy resource development and affordable coal energy. Energy company might consider other environmental friendly energy which will have direct conflict with the benefit of coal mining industry. Electricity powered by coal energy are cheaper if people decide to stop using coal energy. Living spending, production costs will all be higher. Lastly, thank you for watching.